What's up guys, duarktikhq here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are back to talk once again about the Oath and Blade and what you can expect from these characters in DuArktik Mission 7 and DuArktik Mission 8. I used both of these characters on those two game modes and they were able to one-shot all the nodes together with the three new members of Spider Society. So if you are thinking about these characters as an investment for DuArktik Mission, you can pretty much guarantee that. Now, there are a few things that you should take into consideration, and we're going to take a look at some gameplay of those nodes and see exactly what these characters struggle with. But before we do that, we're going to mention a few things that you need to know about their kits, just to make sure that you maximize their value. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so these characters, they are absolute bosses in DuArktik Mission. They're actually better in DuArktik Mission than they are in raids. And this is because many times they are dependent on other characters doing certain stuff. So for example, Blade does something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but this guy, he does turn rewind like Ikaris and Cersei do. 25% turn rewind for primary target and adjacent targets. Then you can also do additional 25% turn rewind on the primary target. So that's going to be a total of 50% to the primary target, 25 for adjacent. And if you have this guy as a striker, you can do additional turn rewind for additional 20% because he attacks twice. So this is going to be a huge deal, and this is why Blade is the best when he's together with faster characters than him. And based on that as well, you need to switch his ISO weight around. Sometimes you're going to use him as a striker, sometimes you're going to use him as a raider, depending on what you want him to do. And this is what is one of my disappointments with this team, is that once again they have a lot of crit mechanics, they need a lot of vulnerabilities, but they don't have the base crit to help them out, which is a huge problem. And then we have the Awakened passive of Blade, which we don't know yet how we are going to obtain this, which also relies on crits from himself and from the team, and we just don't know where these crits are coming from, right? So this is going to be a huge problem, but once again, you can pair him up with characters that give him additional crit, so that's going to be important too, or characters that apply a lot of vulnerabilities, and this is why they are so good with the Spider Society, because they have assist mechanics, vulnerabilities, and so on. Okay, so that's for Blade. Once again, remember, very important, this guy turn rewinds like Cersei and Ikaris. This is a huge value for Blade that I don't see anyone talking about it. Now, speaking of Oath, she is very powerful. She scales insanely well with more stats. The bigger she is, the better she will become. And yeah, she really claps. She has this exposed mechanic that gives a lot of synergies with other characters. She has heal block, she has tons of bleeds, she can also deal extra damage to safeguard. This is extremely important for the DuArktik Mission, and a lot of the attacks cannot be dodged, but remember that if she is blinded, she will fail the attacks, because dodge and miss is something very different. Then we also have the special that does the health steal for her, and the best part about this character is the fact that she gives speed bar on spawn, and on top of that she gives energy. So every time an enemy dies, she's going to provide energy for herself and for Blade as well. There are other characters that give energy when they kill. This one is way better, right? Because it's whenever someone dies, she's going to provide more energy. So the combination of Oath and Blade in DuArktik Mission is very powerful, because you keep turn rewinding the enemies and apply this expose that also does additional damage. And once again, remember the safeguard, the extra damage against safeguard is very important as well, based on the enemies that we face in DuArktik Mission 7 and DuArktik Mission 8. So we're gonna take a look now at some gameplay of DuArktik Mission 8. I can show you as well DuArktik Mission 7, but I don't think it's necessary. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the full run, or if you just want to see DuArktik Mission 8. I don't know if this will be enough. If you guys want to see more than that, like full gameplay of these characters, let me know. But now let's take a look at the last node of Dark Dimension 8 City and see how these guys perform against all those Hank Beams and Captain Britons and Novas and all that crazy stuff that we have on that last node of DD8 City. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at this last node. Once again, these enemies are very annoying. We have tons of safeguard, we have tons of debuff clearing and so on. So this is definitely not easy, but we are going to one-shot the node, and we are also going through some of the things that you need to pay attention to with your blade, which is a big deal. So blade on his passive, he can flip slow and offense down into speed up and offense up, right? So one big problem right away is if blade or oath, they have disrupt. Disrupt is a huge problem against this team, so it's definitely something that you should pay attention to. Now, like I said, you guys can see on the screen right now, we have multiple characters that already have safeguard, and this is where oath becomes so important. That extra damage that she does to the characters with safeguard is really important. The combination of having characters that apply slow like Pavitre together with Blade that does the turn rewind is really huge for this team, and is always one of the best combinations that you want to do. The fact that Oath can steal the health is also important for that dimension to deal with more pesky characters like, once again, Hank Pym with Safeguard, but also Black Knight that is super annoying. But once again, remember that she will fail the attacks if she has blind. You can see right now on the screen that she had blind and she was failing all the attacks, even that they are undodgeable, right? So you still need to pay attention to that. Now, the Blade Special, some people asked me, is Blade Special good? Is it a good awaken ability? Is it worth my $20, $40 or whatever it costs? I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide. It's your money, but in my opinion, it's not a big deal. The amount of negative effects Blade has, it's usually not a problem. And once again, you usually have them together with characters that already clear negative effects. So this is only useful on very specific situations if you are using Blade on its own, which I'm not sure. Most of the times it's not going to be a problem, or because you have a character with taunt that protects him, or something like that. Okay, so as you guys can see, we are absolutely shredding through these nodes. Maybe some of the problem is that we don't have enough buff clearing from the enemies, and sometimes that can be annoying because there are way too many taunts. And that's one big problem with having so many raiders, is that skirmishers are just better at clearing taunts. So I'm gonna tell you that using Spider-Man Noir here and Pavitre as a skirmisher was a lot better, because you just didn't have to deal with all these taunts and things that get in your way. But at the end of the day, like, it's something that we just have to adapt to the situation. And maybe if I would use Spider-Man Peter B. Parker as a skirmisher, maybe that would be easy. But like I said, it's really something that we have to struggle quite a lot, is applying the vulnerabilities and at the same time dealing with the amount of positive effects that the enemies have. But overall, as you guys can see, it's going very well, nothing way too crazy. It took me a few resets to do this. It took me like 2 resets to do this. So it's not like you go there and you just destroy these. And also remember that my Oath is already at 5 yellow stars and at 5 red stars. 3 yellow stars, 3 red stars was fine for Dark Dimension 7. But for Dark Dimension 8, you kinda want her to be a little bit bigger than that. And just having the purple eyes await alone, I mean, you are still going to do it, but not one shot, maybe a few tries, and that's gonna be it. Because once again, like, even that they have the new stats and so on, they just don't have enough buff generation and energy generation to the Spider Society that allows you to just spam buffs, defense up, deflects, barrier all the time. So this is something you definitely have to pay attention to. And unfortunately, the Night Stalkers struggle a little bit with it, because the character that gives them most of the buffs is Man-Thing, and Man-Thing is a global character. So this is a big problem with the Night Stalkers, is that half of the team is city and the other half is global. And then we have city heroes and global heroes, and then we have global villains like Agatha. So taking the full team to Dark Dimension, you really have to pair them up with other characters in order to make the most of it. So as you guys can see, now we had multiple Hank beams at the same time, but we have all the tools for us to deal with this. Once again, the slow combination of Pavitre together with the turning wind of Blade, it makes it very strong combination to turning wind these enemies and control them in Dark Dimension 8 setups. Dark Dimension 8, Dark Dimension overall. And if you're a new player, if for the first time you're getting these characters, this is definitely an absolute amazing investment that you can do early on. And it's going to help you throughout the other Dark Dimensions as well. So it's definitely something that you don't have to worry about. We are now at the end of the node. This last part can be a little bit complicated because we have 2 Circes and 1 Icarus dropping at the same time. We also have that Nova over there, which is quite problematic because of his battlefield effect, but you'll see that we have enough damage just to get through them, and we also have stuns that will stop the enemies. We also have the slow, once again with turning wind from Blade. We can turning wind multiple enemies by 25%, but we can returning wind a single target by 50%, but up to 70%. So it's absolutely a huge deal. So as you guys can see, we are absolutely obliterating this node. We still have 3 Circes, or 2 Circes and 1 Icarus. So we're going to focus on Icarus just to make sure that he doesn't do anything funny. The team definitely has a nice amount of speed ups. Once again, this is all coming from Spider-Man Pavitre. So it's definitely a character that you have to pay attention to in order to get the most out of it. Okay guys, so there we go. That's the performance of Blade and also of Oath in Dark Dimension 8. I think this was very impressive and definitely should be one of your top priorities for Dark Dimension 8, once again together with Spider Society. At least for now, Spider Society will be the best city team that you can bring, and these are the 2 additional characters that you should bring as well in order for you to dominate Cosmic Crucible, Dark Dimension raids, and so on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.